Vanessa Druckman, the editor of Technorati Women, as well as from a smaller food blog called Chef Druck Musings.
I'm a foodie, so
yeah, that I saw that. A foodie and a wine drinker,
yes,
right?
Love it.
Fantastic. So tell me a little bit, we're here at TechWeek. The voices of women could be a little louder here, I wish. What are some of the barriers for women participating in tech?
Well, I think that, you know, in business, it's just in America, I just don't think that it's as welcoming to women. There's still a glass ceiling, and we need to push science and technology to women when they're younger. I mean, it's not like we're conditioned not to be able to do it. It's not like we're not innately incapable of learning how to program or code or build things. Just on stage right now is Leah Buskey. She's the founder of TaskRabbit, and she coded the first platform. For 8 years, she was a software developer at IBM. So it's completely doable. It's just not, women aren't as encouraged as much to take those classes and courses. And then when you get more on the corporate level, there's just not as many women on the C level, on the corporate end, that so unless they're like in the marketing communications. So we just have to keep on fighting and arm ourselves. I think it's really about the individual. It's not about, yes, maybe there's some problems with society and we don't get as many what do you call that, like opportunities. Then in that case, us as women, as individual women, we have to make sure that we make ourselves learn the right things. We don't get scared about learning technology. We don't put our hands up and say, I can't do this because of blah, blah, blah. No, we can do it. If we're interested in it and if we're interested in building technology, we should do that. And we shouldn't be scared.
I love it. Embrace the fear.
Yeah,
right?
Embrace it.
And so tell me a little bit, there's been a lot of great news stories about Sheryl Sandberg and her mentors helping her get to where she's at Facebook. Who are some of your mentors? Who's been big in your life?
There's a few. The women in my family, I mean, I was raised by multiple women, from my mother to my grandmother to my aunts and my gay uncle. and so they're a huge part of my life. I have a friend, her name is Kim Fan. She is a designer in New York City. Her line is called Yumi Kim. Whenever we have a drink and just talk about business, she's so uplifting and encouraging. And those are just a few of the women that I have in my life. I was the president of the Governing Association of Sororities at my university, so I love working with women. After college, a few years after college, I had a role as a web producer for the Women's Conference, which was led by Maria Shriver. She was a great role model for women. We had an amazing lineup of people, from Heidi Klum to the Dalai Lama. So these people, they're really making it happen, and they always help me, whether they're just like from far away and I say, oh wow, Hillary Clinton is amazing, I've never met her before, but I definitely emulate some of the things that she's been doing in her life. And yes, there's so many places to gain inspiration from, personally and also out there.
So you've done amazing things in terms of the StartupLive and the Women's Conference to get people the right tools to get started. What advice do you have? Like, I have a young babysitter who has this great idea, but no network whatsoever. What advice do you have for someone like that to get started, to make it happen, to take it beyond an idea?
Well, I think that what I've been saying and why TechWeek is so large, and it's doubled its size for the past in this second year, is because technology has become an extension of our daily lives. And so if she's starting her own babysitting service, she should look at the tools that are readily available for her to use, from social media to like just even a contact database, and start building her network that way. I mean, at first it may be a little bit daunting to go out there and start talking to strangers, but with any business, you have to do that. And there are now cheap tools or free tools to do that, from meetup.com. She can look up meetups that way. And just because it doesn't have to be a meetup about babysitters. It could just be a meetup maybe with women bloggers who are also women mom bloggers, right? So you start off there. She can go there. She can meet some moms who may need a babysitter, or maybe they just have friends who may need babysitters. But the best idea is to start, but with a little bit of a plan in mind of what tools you're going to use to help you get there.
And so I love that. Embrace the fear, talk to strangers, get out there, and use all the tools to bring people together. Wonderful. And my last question is, how do you think men and women approach tech differently?
So, I don't think that they necessarily do. I think that, there are studies out there that women are better with communications, right? That's why we end up becoming CMOs, right? And I think that, even as a foodie, right, women have more taste buds than men, so we're realizing this, and more winemakers are women, and you're seeing some innovative, amazing new wines from them. So there are different biological things about men and women that have, research out there, but in terms of using something, I don't think that there's really much difference. There is something to be told about the fact that a lot of web platforms now are more beautiful, and there's this sort of movement towards UI, UX, so user experience, user interface, and the geek side of me is saying is women are great, have great eye for design, and more women are going to become front-end developers now because there are more technologies out there that are consumer-facing and need to reach the masses, so they need to become more intuitive. So maybe they have this excellent, Google is just very plain, but the back end is very robust, and the algorithm is very complicated. But what you're seeing now are, for example, Uber, like Travis Kalanick just spoke, Uber is designed to be beautiful and also efficient. So that's what you're going to start seeing with web platforms and mobile applications, is that they're going to become more intuitive and better for user design, so that someone who doesn't have a lot of tech skills can use it. And I think more women are going to start getting into that sort of arena.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today.
No
So excited
problem.
to be here and see all the other people who have signed up for us.
Thank you so much. Thanks.